I'm going to talk about how I managed to become a software engineer without a CS degree. No grad school, no boot camp, just a combination of immense luck, pure hard work, and determination. So if I can do it, then so can you. Okay, welcome back to the channel, besties. Welcome back to Joyful Encounters. If you're new here, my name is Joy. I love to make videos where I talk about my feelings and reflect on my 20s. So if that is something that appeals to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. So this video is going to be about career transitions. And I'll tell you what this video is and what this video is not. Some disclaimers up front. This is not a tech channel. This is not a software engineering channel. This is not a career channel. If you're hoping for like in-depth resume breakdown, tech tutorials, and just like career tips, then this channel might not be for you, and that's okay. I will link other channels you should be watching instead of this video. This channel is instead where I like to reflect on my like life experiences. That includes my career experiences as well. If that's appealing to you, then this channel might be right for you. This video specifically is for people who want a career transition or who are interested in hearing my career transition story, the overall picture / courage when it comes to like career transitioning. Because I know that if you are early in your career, you feel like you might have to commit to a field very early, and whenever you want to change, you might feel like it's too late. Let me tell you this upfront, it's never too late to pivot, and you're doing great, sweetie. Like, you can do it, okay? I believe in you. And now let me talk to you as I normally would when I'm talking to a friend, as I prepare for my day. I wanted to first briefly talk about my first job. I was working as a data analyst at the New York Times, and it really benefited me because it gave me a lot of perspective. There were just so many people who came to the New York Times coming from such different backgrounds, having lived all these different lives, and it really changed my perspective. There are so many people who are data analysts who previously weren't, but I want to tell you the story about how I met Taylor Lorenz, aka the really cool tech journalist who I admire. She told me about how she career transitioned, how she started her career essentially. I do want to talk a little bit about my privileges as well, because I graduated from UCLA with a statistics degree. I think the fact that I had a technical adjacent degree did give me a leg up in terms of like learning the skills needed to know how to like properly code. And also I was working as a data analyst at the New York Times, which really helped me get past a lot of resume screening. I did a lot of coffee chats, and the fact that I was working at the Times, people would give me the time of their day. Oh, another note on privileges, it was 2021. It was definitely a hot job market, and it was a lot easier to get a job then than it is to get a job now. Talking about my privileges, because I think career privileges, it's something that's really important, and it's something that people don't normally realize when talking about their careers. Anything is possible, but if you're struggling right now for whatever reason and you're comparing yourself to others, just know that people have really different circumstances, so don't be too hard on yourself, okay? I should first talk about why I wanted to pivot into engineering. So I was working as a data analyst at the time, and I was bored out of my mind. I was very uninterested in my role. Every role might look different. It depends on the company and the group you're in, but the role I was in, it was mainly just SQL and Google Sheets, and I didn't enjoy it very much. I kind of stumbled upon the world of like news engineering, aka software engineers who work in the news space, and they worked on these really cool front-end projects. So then I was like, okay, maybe I want to become an engineer instead, which I think if you knew me from like college, you'd be surprised, because I had taken one CS class in the past, and that CS class made me cry. But then I had like kind of changed my relationship with programming at this point. I was mostly just really anxious. I managed to get over it, so I decided to really like give it a shot. I realized I had a few options in front of me. I could either go to grad school for a CS degree, or I could do a boot camp. When it came to like grad school, I was just not very interested in it, because I had just been out of school for a year at this point, and it was COVID. I didn't want to go back to school, especially not online school. And when it came to boot camps, I think there were a lot of good programs out there. My own best friend, she did a boot camp, and she managed to successfully career transition. Boot camps, at least for the software engineering boot camps in New York, they require a full-time commitment of like 3 months, and then they help you like find a job. I was not in a place financially where I felt comfortable quitting my job. I had just been working for a year, and honestly, I was not making a lot. So there was like the third option, which was try by brute force. Although honestly, I don't really recommend it because it required so much self-discipline. I started trying the career transition from February, and I did it in November. It took me like 10 months, 11 months. I think it would have been a lot sooner if I had you know, only if I maybe went through like grad school or boot camp. Ended up being late Jan to November. November was when I landed the software engineering job at Bloomberg, but I have no regrets. So that was like why I decided to like do it by brute force. So when it came to career transitioning, I realized I was actually trying to solve 3 problems. I was trying to solve a problem of showing that my resume was strong enough, getting interviews, and the third was actually being able to pass these interviews. So when it came to like showing that my resume was strong enough or like tech adjacent, I think this wasn't so hard because I did take CS classes and I just simply worked on side projects in my free time. I did like a Taylor Swift data viz in React, which I included on my resume. In my free time, I TA'd for Columbia School of Journalism Intro to CS class, so I also had that on my resume. That just really like padded up my resume by a lot. And then the second problem was getting interviews. Okay, a lot of people would like go on LinkedIn and find jobs and like network, but I hate LinkedIn so much. Like if you work on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, but I hate your product. It's always bad vibes in there for me for some reason, and I've never been able to get a single interview from LinkedIn. And again, this was 2021, so the world was a little different then. Twitter was not acquired by Elon yet, which meant that there were so many professionals on Twitter. They would post job listings and they'll be like, oh, DM me if you're interested. And so that's what I did. I slid into their DMs and like introduced myself, and if I didn't get the job, at least we did a coffee chat and they'll talk to me more about like the skills or what I needed to like develop. And that's how I actually landed interviews. I landed an interview with the Washington Post, which was like surreal to me. I was like, wow, this might actually be possible, and that's why I kept grinding towards it. The last bit was actually being able to pass the interviews, which I absolutely was horrible at. I had so much anxiety around like live coding, like live technical coding especially, and I needed to change that. So I did like basically LeetCode. I tried to do all the easy and medium questions in my free time, and if I had the space, then I tried to do the advanced questions. A lot of these companies also would give you like an overview of what you need and give you like a few days to study, so that really helped me. Okay, when it comes to like the actual learning how to code and how to like develop strong coding skills by yourself, I would say that LeetCode did not help me, but Codecademy did. And once I had that foundation after taking Codecademy, not sponsored by the way, I was able to essentially do well in these interviews. And yes, by the time I was interviewing at Bloomberg, I had to do 2 1-hour technical rounds and 1 hour final technical round during the final day as well. I guess what I want to say is it was not easy, but it was also doable. I personally feel like regardless of whatever field you're trying to transition into, there are some takeaways from my experience that you can implement in your journey, which is number 1, talk to the person who's already in the industry that you're interested in. If possible, reach out to acquaintances. That way you have a better picture of like the job itself as well as the things you need to develop. Number 2 is to solidly identify the things that you need to do in order to get you there. And lastly is to set up a game plan as to how you can fill up those gaps. Also wanted to talk a little bit about like my personal reflections after doing my first career transition. So when I first set that goal in January, when I thought to myself that I wanted to transition into engineering, it felt like this very lofty, untouchable goal, but yet I was able to like do it. And I realized that when you set a goal, it seems really scary at first, but usually it's not actually impossible. Like it's hard and there will be roadblocks, but it's very much possible. And that the person you are when you set that goal and the person you become after you achieve it are 2 completely different people. And the work you put in every day to help you get to that goal is how you transform from point A to point B. Like when I set that goal in like January/early February, I did not have the confidence to like do technical interviews. I just had like so many areas I had to work on, and from February to October I felt like I improved so much like as a programmer and was able to develop that like confidence for myself. Don't give up. The only time that a goal you have will for sure be impossible to reach is the moment you give up. Don't give up. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Although transitioning was hard, it was definitely worth it. I got paid significantly more. Although disclaimer, I personally am still very early in my career and I'm still trying to like experiment and figure things out. And to be honest with you, I'm also planning a career transition of my own soon, which I will be sharing shortly on this channel. Yeah, but I don't regret it even though it was hard. I learned a lot about myself, a lot about like what I like in a career and what I don't like. And I think that's a really valuable learning experience. Some parting words. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. For the next, I want to say 4 months, I'll be posting 2 times a week, once on Monday, once on Friday, every day at 10 a.m. ET. On Mondays, the videos will be a reflection of like my life and like an extension of my journal because I made this channel as an extension of my creative self. So I feel like I wanted to like do more creative-ish things that's separate from like career stuff. But I also feel like New York vlogs, a day in my life vlogs, career talk, it's a part of my life and it's something that I also enjoy talking about. So I'll be posting these type of videos on Friday, though I would still say that this is not a career channel, not a tech channel. It's just that career is a huge part of my life and I love reflecting on it. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video inspires you to go after whatever it is your heart desires, as always, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Okay, bye.